this is happening. Unfortunately, the landscape of Wuwa is a bit of a dumpster fire right now. So, rather than trying to wash out the fires, let's instead add to that fire by engaging in this inhuman conversation about why we'd romance these Overlord echoes. Gotta make the best out of a bad situation, right? So, let's treat this all like it's a giant campfire and revel in the madness of it all. Right then, first up, hear me out, Thundering Memphis. It's a shocking start, I know, but the Memphis people are just polygamy on easy mode, simply because they are an amalgamation of deceased souls into one. Sure, he looks deceased too, but so did Count Orlok from Nosferatu, and man, some people just have the brain rot to handle literal rot. So you know what? Maybe Mr. Memphis here has some charm. Now, in terms of raw penetrative power, Thundering Memphis has that in spades. After all, he wields a bloody javelin in battle, so he just knows how to penetrate the right place. Now, I'd also like to add that he's got a great taste in people too. So if he's into you, then there's definitely something special about you. It did go after Jian's ass in the past, but whilst it missed him, it's definitely not gonna miss you. Hear me out, Tempest Memphis. If you're into Thundering Memphis, but were a bit turned off by its rather aggressive design, it's not strapped and is literally less horny. I think 9 out of 10 people would rather take Tempest to meet their parents over Thundering. That being said, less is more, because Tempest Memphis is here to sweep you off your feet, aggressively. Tempest Memphis really be the kind of guy whereby when his girl says, "Come over, no one's at home," Tempest Memphis will rapidly run over there on all fours and just ravage every orifice possible. Furiously, finger blaster quintillion. He is literally the storm that is approaching, and the Virgil references don't stop there. He summons a spectral clone and does a one-shot judgment cut. He'll be like, "I need more power," before ingesting his third Viagra pill of the night. And I'll tell you what, he has the power of anime by his side. Flash steps, a jumping Rasengan. I'm betting he's the type to be 7 inches deep in you and scream, "Kamehameha!" But outside all that fury, I'm certain he's the more introverted of the Memphis boys. Whereas Thundering Memphis is fought out in the open, to fight Tempest Memphis, you gotta fight him in his cave. So with Tempest, I'm certain it's calm before and after the storm, but that doesn't change the fact that he is the storm. Hear me out, Mourning X. I feel this light show with wings is the only echo that's able to have a wholesome, devoted relationship with someone. This is the light you want to be walking towards. Don't believe me? Here are the receipts. His ex. Yes, the Mourning X is the only Overlord echo, for now, that's had legit prior relationship experience. His backstory was that he used to have a mate, but with his mate's passing, he mourned. Mourned hard. Hard enough to crash out on the world. Hence the name, Mourning X. Now I say all of that not to paint the avian echo in a bad picture, rather it's to highlight just how devoted and in love it can be. All of this only happened because it loved its mate so much. And honestly, that's kind of a green flag. Having someone that will quite frankly burn the world down for you. Now let's say you are successfully the Mourning X's new mate. You'll be happy to know that his love language is physical touch. After all, look how many times it'll grab you. Very handsy, this echo. Did I also forget to mention that, in my opinion, out of all the 1.0 Overlord echoes, the Mourning X is the most majestic looking? Who wouldn't want to marry this literal Prince Charming, both in looks and personality? Hear me out, Mech Abomination. While it does look like a technical mistake, it could be your technical mistake, you know, and some people's love belong to their creations. Why put the effort into finding love when you can just create it? Factually, the Mech Abomination is man-made, albeit clearly incomplete, but it's often the imperfections which make things perfect. Now, since it doesn't have a bottom half, technically it's a paraplegic, but hey, disability pensions, yes, get your bag. And as a result of having to drag itself around, man, look at those arms. They're muscle fiber optics. And you see that mouth? You know what that mouth do? Eat out with a capital E. If you're willing to risk it all on a giant spring lock, this could be perfect. It's just extra clamp strength after all. And finally, since it's all just machinery, it'll last forever. So the fun stops when you want it to stop. Or you can take it back to the scrapyard and start again. Oh, speaking of scraps, if you've had beef with the cast of Wuwa 1.0, then this mech is your boy, because he's been scrapping with 2 resonators as its final boss, so you can bond over that shared hatred together. Hear me out, Lampilumen Myriad. I'd say it's the most cold and brutal of the Overlord echoes. But hey, if evil, why hot? First off, it's got such an edgy design. Literally. Something about it feels so 90 degrees. But back to that whole evil notion, yeah, it's canonically an icy, sadistic predator. And I say predator with full reference to the franchise of Predator, by the way, because the Myriad also has cloaking abilities. This walking, freezing acupuncture session can not only imitate human speech, but uses it to lure its prey, and then kill them in its cold environment so that it can suck suck up those delicious high-octane emotional last words. The deliciousness of human despair. But you see, this also just highlights the intelligence of the Myriad, a being that's cold and ruthless with his intelligence. Honestly, it just sounds like Light Yagami or Aya Nokoji, and these two guys hella got fan bases. So who says the Lappy Lumen Myriad won't? Hear me out, Inferno Rider. The hottest biker bad boy in Wuthering Waves. Dude is so hot, he burnt up like a 6 of Jinjo's terrain before we disposed of him. He makes you sweat in places you thought were not possible. And I'm sure his passion is just as steamy and spicy as his warmth. All of it you'll get to feel as you ride with him throughout the roads of Solaris into the sunset. And hey, if you get far enough, he'll ride on you. Still, bike or not, Inferno Rider is an unrelenting constant pressure of force. He's strong, objectively speaking. From swinging his spear to your face, to bashing you with his bike, to throwing meteors, to all of the above done simultaneously. When things get physical, wink wink, Inferno Rider brings it all. He is an overwhelming firestorm, and you're never gonna find a love as hot or as unrelenting as his. Hear me out, Impermanence Heron. It's got 3 heads. Do I have to explain any further? To be fair, each head actually has a purpose: ingestion, offense, and guard. And who doesn't love a partner that can multitask? Worried about expenses from maintaining his feathers? No worries. He'll literally shed the excess stuff into projectiles against his enemies. Sounds dangerous, but main point is, especially in this economy, that's good money saved. Speaking of dangerous things, the Impermanence Heron is either brave as hell or crazily dumb, or something in between. There's 3 heads on that thing, so I don't know. But it was willing to risk becoming a chicken sandwich by going up against one of the most dangerous blooms in the Black Shores, Camellia. So make of that what you will. That being said, if you knock enough sense into it, it does cannibalize the other 2 heads, I think, to double its firepower. So perhaps another 2 heads are not better than 1. So it goes to show that if the Heron needs to lock in, it'll lock in. 3 heads or not. Hear me out, Failen Bingal. It's a no-brainer. Return to monkey. Now, I know the Failen Bingal is more gorilla than monkey, but the main point is, I think it'll just be a really fun time. No need to abide by the traditional protocols of relationships, just follow the winds and monkey around together. And I'm certain he's the open-minded type too. Want to do it outdoors? Bet. He prefers to do it in the trees anyway. Furthermore, who wouldn't want to be dating the gorilla who can face 100 men? And I will say, much like the pillar which the Bingal occasionally swings around, the one he's holding by the way, not the one between his legs, I do believe he will be your pillar of support when things get tough. Or, like his pillar, he'll just climb on top of you and just I'm still standing better than I ever did. Hear me out, Fallacy of No Return. If you're genuinely into AI porn, well, here you go. Fallacy of No Return. Sure as hell ain't real, but once we dabble in it, there's really no going back. For something made up of data, it's probably got some terabytes in it because that's a beefy boy. Jesus, the fallacy has gains. But considering his JoJo's attack, yeah, the 7-foot swole figure fits the T. But he's obviously gonna put on all that muscle when he's constantly swinging around that beef stick off a hammer. Smash, smash, smash. All day, every day, anywhere. Yeah! That wasn't about the hammer, by the way. But you wanna know the real kicker? Of all the Overlord echoes, I'm pretty sure this is actually a girl, and the whole body is just a mech suit. She's just an AI chick in a Gundam. Sure, she might be throwing a train or 2 at your face, but come on, look how cute she is. And I also think the fallacy is just very shy, because once that helmet comes off and she's exposed to the world, she suddenly generates an extra pair of beefy hands and starts throwing on sight. But as you're weaving your way through the onslaught of fists, beams, energy balls, and pillars, you can't help but imagine the sullen face of a digital girl desperately trying to kill you because she doesn't want you to see her face. Yeah, the fallacy just might be the one. And finally, best for last, hear me out, Crownless. I know I'm not alone with this take. I'm certain a good proportion of the woo-wah community would romance this guy too, passionately. He really proves that you don't gotta have a crown to be king. Scratch having Yang Yang as the poster girl, put my guy Crownless there. Now let's actually start talking about why you guys need to hear me out with Crownless. And I don't care if it's not canon anymore, I'm referencing every appearance he has made to date. The Too Long Don't Read, he's so cool, the coolest, and he has so much sauce in every aspect of his being. Let's look at his design first. What it lacks in symmetrical proportions, he makes up for in awesomeness. And yes, the cape makes all the difference. Edna's take, bruh. Yes, capes. Now, as for the first time we meet him, no matter the version, a constant is that he wants to throw hands on sight. And his hands are rated E for everyone. Even outside the cutscenes, the first thing he does when we arrive is start swinging. In a world where there are superhuman warriors who wield weapons and special abilities, Crownless just says, "F all that, take these hands." This is why I miss CVT1 Crownless so much. It's a post-apocalyptic world, and what way to convey the hopelessness of it all than to have the first enemy appearance absolutely pummel. Jesus, this dude watched the Jinzhou trio. Dude just suddenly appeared and said,
"What's good?"
And unprovoked, he was about to blast our character. Although he missed, he started to style on everyone before breaking her wound. You think Crownless cares about your Pokemon? Your Latias looking ass. And sword catchers are always cool. But you know what isn't? Yang Yang's stinky wind powers. My ass, you're beating him with this Timu Getsuga Tensho, so the crash out was valid. Take this fist. I will never forget the first time I saw this scene. Man, this is what you call absolute cinema. The disrespect. Man, he sounded menacing. Now let's talk gameplay. When you actually start fighting him, he's honestly just waiting for you, taunting you. Swing first, bruh. And since he's cloaked up, he's maintaining that regal feel. The gloves are still on kind of thing. So his attacks aren't anything too mobile. But once the cape's off, so are the gloves. And here's where we see the switch up in style. Now he's treating us like a proper opponent. He keeps on his feet and strikes hard. Add in that blasting 1-inch punch? Me, the coolness doesn't stop. Finally, if you beat his ass enough, he'll switch to his third form, whereby he gains a pair of wings, tagged with an epic impact frame to pull out his spear. Give me one night with Crownless, and I'll pull out his other spear. At this moment, you are no longer an opponent, you are a target. He'll flurry you with his epic spear skills, fly across the stages instantaneously, summon goddamn tornadoes. The coolness in his combat choreography is consistent, no matter the phase. He looks cool, sounds cool, fights cool. That's all I need to be deeply in love with this dude. But sure, there's little to nothing on his personality, only his intentions, which is to beat us. And understandably, that's nothing redeeming in terms of qualities as a valid romantic partner. He's more of a red flag than anything, but I guess I'm colorblind, as often people are with hot characters. I'm so coping for Kuro Games to return Crownless' strength for the story, not just keep it to a hologram. But ultimately, in my heart, no one's beating Crownless. I challenge Kuro Games to make an Overlord class Echo that trumps him. Woo! And with all the Overlord class echoes being covered from patch 1.0, we have come to the end of our rather disgusting escapade of a video. I suspect you've probably wondered whether it was worth for me to throw out my humanity for this nonsensical conversation that should really only be talked about privately, or you've been greatly entertained, which I hope is the case. So if so, I'd also really appreciate it if you gave a like and subscribe. And as a plus, I'd love to hear your degenerate takes too. Peace and love y'all, and see you for the next video.